If you see on the screen, this is the existing project which we use to create .NET 8 login and registration. So basically in this application we will try to create a JWT token authentication. So, and this is also built on .NET 8. So the first step to create the JWT token authentication is we have to install one package. So let me open this one, manage NuGet packages, and we have to install one package that is called JWT bearer package. So I have already installed. Let me show you. So this is the package, Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.authentication.jwt bearer. So I have already installed it. So this is the first step which I have already covered. Now the second step is we have to add the JWT authentication in our program.cs or startup.cs. So if you are using any lesser framework, or let's say Visual Studio 2019, so you might have a startup.cs file. If you have, then you have to add that particular code which I'm going to add in your startup.cs. Or if you are having program.cs, then you have to follow the same step which I'm going to do right now. All right, so here we have to add our JWT authentication in this program.cs. So let's quickly add it, and I have already have that particular code handy, so let me quickly paste this one. So now if you see, this is the particular code which you need to add, and I'll explain each and every line of it. So first of all, this add authentication, what is this method? This method particularly uh, add your authentication for your web application. So for this .NET 8 login app, this method is responsible to add the authentication using JWT token. All right, and what is like this default authenticate scheme and default challenge scheme? Basically, let's say I am a user, I provided my credentials and I get a token against these credentials. Now there is another user, so whatever token I get, if I pass the same token to another user and if she try to log in, then that user will get unauthorized access. So these two method does the work at the backend. All right, now we have add JWT bearer. Basically this method takes some parameters to authenticate the issuer, audience, the lifetime, and also using this JWT bearer we try to get the issuer from the app settings. I'll show you after a moment, and the audience and the issuer signing key. So basically these three values we try to get from the app settings, and based on that we generate a particular token. All right, so this code does the things as I explained. Now let's go to our app settings.json. So here we have to add one block, let me call JWT, and now we have to add some properties. So if you see the program.cs, here we are getting issuer, audience, and key. All right, so first of all let me copy a key and let's add a key called key, and here we have to pass a value. So we can pass any strong value over here. So let me give any random values over here. All right, if you want you can also generate a key using Google. Another property will be the issuer. Let me copy from here and let me give the issuer value. So what is this? Let me give JWT issuer. I'll tell you once I complete the code what is this issuer and what is this audience. Let's copy the another key which is audience. JWT audience, and we also need one more key called subject, JWT subject. So what is this key basically? Or let's talk about what is this JWT. So this is a top level key in JSON object. All right, and this includes all the related properties and keys about the token which we will use to generate a secure JWT token. All right, now what is this key? This property specifies the secret key used to sign in the JWT token. Basically it's a long random generated string See, as I have given the random string, but as I mentioned earlier, you can use Google to create a secure key. All right. Then this issuer, this property specify the issuer of the JWT token. The issuer is the entity responsible for issuing the tokens. All right. For example, for this particular app, the issuer is JWT issuer. Now audience, this specify the audience of the JWT token, and the audience is the recipient or recipient for the whom the token is intended. Means, let's say I'm the user, I'm trying to log in, and after the successful login I must get a token. So I will use that particular token to consume the API. So I'm the audience. All right. Now subject specify the and it also represents the user identity associated with the token. So when we try to create a token, we'll pass the subject, issuer, audience. So I'll show you when we try to log in, and we use these properties. All right. So basically these settings provide essential parameters to create a JWT token, including the secret key, issuer, audience, and subject. All right. Now this is our third step. The first step is we have to add the namespace. Second step, we have to add this particular code in our program.cs. Third step is we have to add a JWT block including key, issuer, audience, and subject. Make sure these key match with the same values of this. Otherwise, you will not get value and you will get null exception. All right. So now another step is we have to add our JWT token generation logic. So we already have this login API. So now let me try to add here. First of all, we have to check the user who is trying to log in or who is trying to access the APIs, if he's a valid user or not. So in this block, if user is not null, means this user is valid user. We have the credentials in the database. All right. Now we have to use this one. So if user is valid, then we have to create some claims. So where claims is equal to new, so new claim. For that we have to add one namespace. So again, focus on the claim and control dot. So using security dot claims, and here JWT registered claims dot sub means subject, and here we have to get, okay, we don't have configuration over here, so let's try to add the configurations first. Private read only I configuration, so underscore configuration, and we also need to inject in the constructor part, and this dot configuration is equal to configuration. So we have injected our configuration. So let's copy this here, and configuration dot, not dot, JWT subject. Let me also cross check. Yes, we have colon, not the dot one. Okay. So this is for subject. Same. Let me copy this one and paste here, and this will be for JTI JWT registered claim, and here we have to use a GUID ID. So GUID dot new GUID dot to string. Third one, let me again copy this entire one. Now we have to pass the properties on what basis you want to create the token. So let's say, let me remove this one, and user ID. So from where we'll get the user ID? We already have that valid user. So let me copy this user from here. So user dot user ID dot toString. So that will be the first parameter on which basis we will create the JWT token. Another one, let's say we are using email. So user dot email dot toString. All right. So these two are the parameters on which on these basis we will create the JWT token. If you want, you can add other also, but as of now I'm only using user ID and email. All right. So save. Now let's also get the key. So where key is equal to new symmetric secure key encoding control dot system dot text namespace encoding dot utf-8 dot get bytes configuration and JWT key, where sign in is equal to new sign in credentials, sign in new sign in credentials, and we have to pass the key which we just created, and security algorithm dot, now we have to pass the type of, so let me give hmac 256. If you want, you can also choose the 512. All right, so this is the type of algorithm which you, on which basis you will try to generate the token. It could be 256, it could be 512, depends on your type or the security. Okay, so we have key, we have sign in credentials. So now let's try to generate the token. So let's say where token is equal to new JWT security token. So here we have to pass our issuer audience. Let me copy. Okay, we don't have. So let me pass configuration. No, configuration JWT issuer. Let's copy this one. Paste, and here I'll give audience, and then I give claims, and then expires the time, like till what time you want to make it active, or let's say you want to create a token which will be active for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 60 minutes. So here we have to pass the expiration time. I don't need this claim, and then date, time, dot utc now dot add minutes. So basically I'm going to add minutes. If you want, you can add hours, day, okay, based on your requirement. So let's say I'm giving 60 minutes. So this, the token which will be generated by this code will be active for next 60 minutes. And then sign in credentials. And these are sign in, as we already have this sign in. Done. So we have our token ready. Now let's try to get the token value from this. So string token value, new JWT security token handler dot write token, and pass the token value. And if this token is created successfully, then we have to return the same token with this user. So let me comment this line, return, okay, new token value, and also user equal to user. All right, save. So basically, if you see here, we have added claims, and then we have added a key signing token. The code is very easy to understand. So basically we are creating claims. So on to create claims, we are using our subject, we are passing one GoID ID, and we are using existing user ID and email of the particular user who's trying to log in and trying to generate the token. And based on the key, we are getting a key, and again the sign in credentials using that particular key. And this key and sign in, these two values we are again using to create the token. And to create a token, we are using the issuer, audience, claims, and also the expiration time and the sign in credentials. So if everything works, then we'll get a token value, and from this token value we are passing the same value along with the user to the front end. So this is our token generation logic. So let's try to add our next step. So if you uh, let me save the changes first. Now again we have to go to our program.cs or startup.cs, and we have to add our method called app.use authentication. Save. So now all steps are done. Let's go to our user controller, and let me minimize all the APIs. Save. So here let me give a tag called authorize to this particular API, not authorization filter, authorize. Save. So let's try to run this, and we'll see if we can we are able to access the same get user API uh, uh, without passing any token. We will also try to create the token using this login API. So let's also put one breakpoint over here. So we'll see step by step how the token is being generated. So our Swagger page is being loaded. Okay, first of all, let's try to execute this one without any authorization or authentication. So we should get result as expected as earlier. Yes, working. Now let's try to access this API. So let me pass any valid user. So we say unauthorized as expected, as we have decorated this API using authorize attribute. Okay, now let's go to our login, and Let's try to create the JWT token. Okay, this is the email. Let me copy both things. Let's execute. Okay, so where user is valid. Okay, it says unable to create this key. Okay, the key size must be greater than 256. Let's stop this one and let's go to our app settings. Let me just copy and paste one more time. Save, run again. So the length also should match it to 256. All right, otherwise you will get the same error. So again, login, get users, try it out. Execute. So now the token value is created. If you see, so we have our token. So not like this. If you see none, so this is our token. All right. So close this. So let me click the continue button. So if you see, we have our token. All right. Now, if you want, you can also add one more package for enabling this JWT token on this Swagger. But as of now, I'm not going to do that, and I'm using Postman to access that API. So again, go back to Swagger and click on this user, try it out, unauthorize. Okay, because we have not passed this token. So let's paste the URL over here and go to authorization tab, and from here let's use bearer token, and this is the existing one. Let's delete and go to the login API and copy this particular token over here, copy and paste it over here, send. See, so it says 200. Okay, means using this token we are able to access the API. Let me do one thing. Let me add some random characters after this also. So means this token is not valid. If I click again send, so we'll see 4 or not unauthorized. All right, so our JWT token is working. Okay, let's go back to Visual Studio again. So this is our users controller. So we can uh, uh, use this authorization attribute like two ways. Let's say this is our API level or method level. So if I want to authorize the entire controller, so you can also paste it over here. All right, so now whatever APIs are there, they will be secured and they will use the authentication before entertaining any user or outer resource. All right, so this is how we can create our JWT token in .NET 8. So let me again recap everything. The first step is we have to add the package of JWT token from NuGet package manager. Second thing, we have to add our authentication method and JWT bearer in our program.cs file or in your startup.cs file if you have startup.cs. Third step is we have to add our JWT block containing key issuer audience subject in our app settings, and then we have to add the token generation code in our controller or like in any of your API which you are using to validate users. Like for example, in most of the cases we only use login. All right, so I have added the code. Similarly, you have to write this code to generate the token if user is valid. And then again, the last step is we have to add this use authentication method in our program.cs or startup.cs. And then last but not the least, like you have to decorate your resources using this authorize attribute. So this is very simple and straightforward, like how we can create JWT token, and we can authenticate, and we can validate, and we can secure our APIs and our resources. All right, so this is about today's video. And let's say if you are working on your college project, or if you are doing an internship, and that is in React.js, .NET Core, JavaScript, and like .NET MVC, or HTML, CSS, any kind of text space you are using, and you are having any problem in these technologies, so you can contact me on my WhatsApp number. If you go to my channel description, so you will find my WhatsApp number, you can find my Instagram handle, Facebook handle, so you can also find my email address, so you can contact me using any of these contact details, and we can help each other. All right, so this is about today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.